Shashi Tharoor, famous politician, wrote an article in the Week magazine that has been widely read on the magazine itself and via WhatsApp. The article is titled Hate Missionaries New Target, published in the Week magazine March 7th to 2020 edition. And I want to read a few lines from that article, and which many people have read. In fact, we read it in our family prayer just a few minutes ago. My daughter read it and my wife completed reading the article. Shashi Tharoor's vocabulary is quite interesting and educative as well. He talks about his English professor at St. Xavier's, Kolkata. And he says, the late Father Remedios, a superb guide to Shakespeare as well as values of life, within brackets, biblical ethics without the Bible, was an excellent class teacher who, after instilling in us his profound knowledge of Julius Caesar, cycled regularly to jail, visiting prisoners to minister to their moral and spiritual needs. Here is a world-renowned politician, Shashi Tharoor, maybe in his 60s, recalling his school days, his college days. And he remembers one of his college professors, a Roman Catholic father, taking a bicycle to a nearest jail and preaching the gospel to them. He remembers not only his ministry, but the simplicity with which he did the ministry. I want to encourage all young people who are listening to me. It's not just the ministry that you do, but the simplicity with which you do the ministry. That is important, because that's what is going to speak to many people who are not followers of the Christian faith. It was true in Shashi Tharoor's case. I don't recall as a young boy cycling to the villages of Vellore, the town I grew up with, along with Blessing Youth Mission, elder brothers, Anans, to preach God's word. And I remember traveling on two-wheeler, in bikes, to different parts of Hyderabad to give out tracts, and sometimes Ivan joining me. And when God blessed us with a car almost a decade ago, simple car, an i10 car, we have enjoyed traveling in that car. And last week we traveled almost 50 kilometers just for the joy of standing on the roads to give out the gospel in printed form, wrapped around contemporary events, to a few college students. Now we are in the Lent season, and that reminds me of a Bible verse, Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 12 and 13. Hebrews 13, 12 and 13. I read from the New American Standard Bible, NASB. Therefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people through his blood, suffered outside the gate. Jesus suffered outside the gate. Jesus went outside the city of Jerusalem to offer himself to be crucified. We know that well. So what should we do? Verse 13 tells us, the next verse tells us, hence, some versions will say, therefore, hence, let us go out to him, or let us join Jesus outside the camp, bearing his reproach. So let us also go outside the camp to the highways and the byways and the difficult areas, bearing his reproach. Even if the journey is difficult, even if the journey is inconvenient, let's go to all these places. And if we preach the gospel, we'll be shamed, we may be persecuted, we may be thrashed, our teeth may be broken, our lives may be taken, but we still should do that because our Master did it. We don't do it to earn salvation. Our Master did what it takes for us to be saved and said it's finished. But in our lifelong journey to become more like him, we also travel along with him outside the gate or to the difficult area, using simple methods of transport, a method that of transport which Shashi Tharoor remembered in his 60s, in his late 50s. I don't know how old he is, late 50s or early 60s. He remembered how a Roman Catholic father cycled to the prison preaching the gospel. So we will not only preach the gospel, we will preach it with simplicity. We will preach it even though there is inconvenience. We will preach it with all the resources, the limited resources we have. We will not complain to anyone that we don't have resources. But with the limited resources we have, we will preach the gospel with all that we have got. And that's my message. Travel along with me. And I'm doing this Lent devotions, news wrapped Lent devotions. And may God bless you as you keep thinking about what I have shared. Bye-bye.